So they're getting their chance to shine over there. People from over there get a chance to shine on NXT and vice versa. But I will say this, Stand and delivered better than WrestleMania because every match was a 5-star match. And some of the matches for WrestleMania's night 1 and 2 were good and some were meh.
Yeah, I would say like some of the matches on WrestleMania card was like matches that could have just been on SmackDown Go Home Show or Raw Go Home Show. There was just there, and yes, I'm looking at there was no reason for the Street Profits not being on that card at all.
It wasn't a reason for them not being on the card. It wasn't a reason for Chelsea Green to not be on the card. I mean, she's the mid-card champion that's actually over with the people.
Exactly. So,
and who's the mid-card champion that got put on the card for WrestleMania? The one that's not over with the people.
And for not even her own title. No,
like, because they wanted to make her Lyra 2 belts for 24 hours and then boom, gone. But before we get into more tangents that we should have been on for the Mike Knox show when he discussed all things WrestleMania, but because I was out of town and coming home from where I was coming because I was visiting family, I was not able to do that, and I was not going to do that in the car on the way over with the internet going on and off. But we had Gigi and Tatum versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the women's titles. We started off with some women's wrestling, and Gigi and Tatum as a tag team is something that I really do enjoy. I enjoyed this team together better than when Gigi was in Toxic Attraction, not just because of the fact that they got pushed so much to the moon that I was annoyed by the utter sight of those 3 women, even though I was behind JC when she was in that because they overlooked her and didn't use her as much except for when it came to talking. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the match was good. Liv and Raquel have good chemistry working together. Of course, they've worked together multiple times. Being champions, Raquel is a 5-time tag champion, as they said on TV. And, I mean, they had some great spots. There were a couple of slips, unfortunately, when Gigi jumped and did the crossbody. Unfortunately, she had jumped a little too. It wasn't close enough. So when Raquel lifted her up to hold her to show her power, it looked a little awkward. And when Tatum did the flip off of the apron to jump on Liv and Raquel, it looked like she didn't hit them enough, but they still had the fall to sell it. Those were a couple things that I didn't love too much about it. But, I mean, these things do happen. Sometimes I feel like it's better to miss a little bit versus hit too much because then something could happen and someone could actually get hurt. Yeah. And, like, something that's not expected to happen happens, and then you have to either cut it short or have to work your way around it. And sometimes it can work out and sometimes it doesn't. But, I mean, I had no problems with this match. And on Gigi, Dolin was given the Oblivion, and they retained the belts.
Yeah. And it was so funny because we talked about this earlier. And I was like, you know, I'm not surprised. Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Liv and Raquel won. Definitely with them having the bigger chemistry, the bigger longevity. And I mean, Raquel, you know, people used to love to say that she can't wrestle, she can't do this, that, and third, but she holds her own. I have to give Raquel props. Yes, Liv is the main focus of this tag team, but Raquel is showing why, you know,
why she was one of the most dominant NXT women's champions that we had, even though she had Dakota Kai helping her most of the time before Dakota turned her back on her.
That too. And that was even why, like, I still can't believe to this day. I still can't believe that actually happened. Not the reign,
but just she was jealous that she was never challenged for the belt.
I was finally in. I was hoping. I was wondering because he said that it wasn't working, but.
So he didn't hear me go on and on about him. Well, he can watch earlier on, and then he can hear me. Love you, Steven. But after all that, we get Lexus came backstage without his precious Heritage Cup. And he hasn't gotten a hit back from Penn and Tell her. They come to an agreement where Lexus has to admit that magic is real, and that they are magic chick is real, and he has to defend the cup tonight. And he says, sure, magic is real. You two are magic. They make the cup reappear, but your opponent is a surprise.
Yeah. I was shocked about the surprise, actually. I didn't.
Listen, we don't talk about it when we get to it. Let's not spoil anything too soon as somebody already did in the chat, which, careful. Steven, I counted the votes like 20 times. I'm not doing it again. And I did not smite you. I followed the rules, okay? Like I said, if we didn't have the rules about that damn chat, everybody could switch the vote willy-nilly, and we wouldn't have no championship in UPR to begin with, point blank, period. I do it and I keep it fair. Besides, if I wanted to smite the votes every damn time, I do it and make me win every damn time. And I'd be like a 20-time UPR champion by now. But I keep the respect, I play by the rules. I'm a full-time babyface with some somewhat heel-like tendencies, according to one or two people in our UPR family. Anyways.
I'm definitely a tweener.
Yes, and we love you for that. Anyways, they did talk about show a hype reel from the Bloodsport for GCW where Tatum Heights and Charles Dempsey took part in, which Charles Dempsey won his match, and Ren Sinclair and Myles Borne are watching it, and they're talking backstage, and Myles is kind of talking about how he would like to have been in it, would have wished that he could have been there, when Darkstay comes up and tells them that you ain't no real shooter like Tavion is, and that NQCC should just break out now before we break y'all up for you. And then Myles gets in their face, and then Javon is walking in from the background, and he comes up to them. And before we know it, they call him out saying, like, Myles is like, oh, why don't we see what it's like with a tag match 4v4? And then Darkstate's like, you don't got nobody else alongside you. And Javon gets into this, and he says, well, I'm with them. And Myles is like, well, why don't we do a 2-on-2 tonight and see how it goes? And they laugh at them, and then they leave. And then we have an improv tag match tonight.
Yeah, good old Darkstate being Darkstate, just pure instigators. Just
pure instigators, pure gaslighters, all the qualities of being a heel. Although sometimes with the gaslighting, you do make a few fair points here and there, like John Cena did last night. Anyways, we had Ricky Saints making his entrance, and he's on the mic. We got some people chanting in the crowd that they love Ricky, and he tells the crowd that he loves us back, and that they kicked off WrestleMania with a bang by defending the title against the everlasting thorn in his side, all ego Ethan Page, that he made a promise to be the man around here. And it felt so good to do it against Ethan. Enters, as Eddie Thorpe said, the white man who isn't happy with what he has and is just so greedy about it. Thank you, Steven. At least somebody in our UPR chat can see it as well. We have the one-man president of the I Can't Stand the Young OG Club. I'm not going to say names. But Lexus King, a.k.a. the greedy white boy who's not happy with what he has and has to have more, trying to utilize his white boy privilege, tells Ricky to hold his horses, that he knows he just had a historic win, but he spent his whole weekend looking for the Heritage Cup because Penn and Teller made it disappear, calling them clowns. And we get him to say he's here to defend his title, and if Ricky doesn't get out of there, he might set his sights on that North American Championship. And he says, your mouth keeps writing checks your ass can't catch.
Beautiful.
And that Lexus says that he's just another BS artist trying to get along with these peons, but that nobody actually likes him, though everybody's chanting, we love Ricky and Lexus sucks. And he's willing to put his cup on the line for a chance at your title, with Ricky calling him out, being like, last I checked, there was a fatal 4-way contendership match and your ass got pinned, so you don't deserve another title opportunity. So I don't know what you're talking about. And that you're a very special individual. And he's been doing this while he waits for his mystery opponent, and he's pretty sure that he went to Ava, so he says it's on.
Yeah, it was so funny because I kept wondering. I did wonder. Right after standing the liver, I said, wonder who Ricky's gonna face now, to defend, and I always overlook him. I know he's supposed to be. He's one of my childhood villains, one of my favorite childhood villains in a long time. But I always keep on overlooking Lexus King, and I don't know why I keep overlooking him. A lot of times when it comes to certain feuds, but this kind of makes sense. I'm okay with. I'm
I was about to say, do we have time to discuss why people overlook him? I mean, I could write out a trilogy of why they overlook him, but I mean, I used to like
we will be here.
We would
literally be here.
And I hated Ricky Saints in AEW, and now the roles are reversed.
But well, I'm about to say which one because it's like it's multiple.
Well, I was about to say, is it the one that was the one that was in the ring or the one that wasn't in the ring?
Yeah, because in the ring,
but that already answered it for us. So
out of all of them, that really is going to be like a star.
Is it the one whose name you can't stand for the life of you?
Probably is like between. I hate this name.
Between Shaquan
but it is between Shaquan and Dion. For me, I feel like the others are cool, but they're not gonna be able to stand out.
Not big on Osiris and Cutler.
Nah, I don't see them. I just don't see them standing out in a sense. Like NXT stand out, yeah, but once it's time for once it's time for main roster call up, because we really don't. This is the other thing, like Triple H confuses me when it comes to tag teams and factions. It's like he does one thing with factions, but he does another thing with tag teams. But then he doesn't. It's hard. It's
all
hard.
I can say is
it's hard to follow our pattern because there's no pattern.
Showing in one team, no matter how much they try to pair it with them Band-Aids in the Judgment Day. Because I said in our chat, and I said to someone else, that Finn Balor will get his revenge and he will turn on Dominic Mysterio. And I can't wait for it.
So I look. So I'm starting to learn because somebody brought this up in a Facebook group I'm in, and it was so interesting because I was like, damn, this kind of makes sense. He said, if you really look at it, Dom got revenge on every single Judgment Day person that did him wrong.
Yeah, he did. I can't say that he didn't. He did.
He got his
they ain't turning face. I can say that right now. They ain't turning face.
Oh no, absolutely not. It's like it's one of those, we know he's a heel, but I mean I've always liked the guy. I just like booing him, but I always like he's just my thing is kayfabe me is like just apologize to your dad and I'm cool with you. Like that's about it. Outside that he can be dirty. He can make it seem that he looked up to Eddie when it came to wrestling more than he looked up to his dad. He
literally could look up to them both. I mean, he once upon a time was shorter than his dad.
I mean,
hey, I had to say it.
He is.
But
I mean, Rage is short. Like,
sometimes it happens. Sometimes people are just short.
Rage is short.
But if you're close enough, you can make fun of them for it. I mean, I do that all the time with somebody that I know. But we do have earlier today footage of Hank and Tank and Soul and Zarya hanging out and celebrating. Well, 3 out of 4 of them are. Because Hank and Tank are our new NXT Tag Team Champions. And Soul Ruka is now a 2-belt champion with, again, only 1 belt that she's allowed to bring because they don't want that belt shown anywhere except on Twitter.
I keep forgetting that belt
even
exists.
NWA has a television championship, which they only defend for 6 minutes and 5 seconds. And TNA has their digital media championship, which they show on the air. Like, why did y'all make a belt if y'all weren't going to present it anywhere else? Unless y'all made a rule saying, like, You guys can't present the belt nowhere else, and you can't talk about it, even though commentary has mentioned it.
This is so weird.
It is very weird. But Thea Hale does come in. She's very energetic, and she is congratulating Soul. She's saying if anybody else would have won, it would have been her. Listen, title or not, it's going to be a good-ass feud, and I want to see Demon Finn Balor come up against Dominic.
I don't know if we ever gonna get Demon Finn back.
Well, he has that more as like his face character thing versus like his heel character thing, and only did it one time versus Edge.
Yeah.
But anyways, we got Jada Parker, Fatal Influence, and Kaylani Jordan all rolling up telling her, none of us are happy you're back. This locker room is completely different than when you left 6 months ago. And then Fallon demands that JC take care of her once and for all. And JC says to her, you want something done, you do it yourself. And then Fallon says, you couldn't get the job done anyways. Which, something interesting I spotted. JC and Jasmine were both wearing black tops and army green bottoms, while Fallon was dressed completely different than the two of them. So I feel like Fatal Influence will be cracking. Them two will probably turn into a tag team, and they'll turn their back on Fallon because she's their supposed leader, and their supposed leader keeps failing them every chance that they get.
Yeah, it's like one of those, hey, we're gonna unite, but you know what? Those were just like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this union. That was bad. Like basically, it just gives that one feels like that they would be successful without them, and the others feel like they feel like they're all only successful because the fact that they're a unit. So I'm seeing the cracks. I think feel like we all see it
for a minute now.
Yeah, I feel like we all see it, so it's just a matter of time. And you know, Triple H loves to break up a good tag team.
Well, I mean, we'll just see where it goes from here on out, and we'll see how Jasmine and JC fare after they eventually turn their back on Fallon Henley, although we all know one Mr. Great Grand Slam Puba will be cheering and screaming out of his chair, hopefully not scaring Mr. Cat too much when that happens.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be defending. He's definitely going to be defending why.
Well, we'll just see what happens. But speaking of seeing what happens, we do have Lexus King in the ring waiting for his challenger for the Heritage Cup. Now, I was thinking of names of people in the back who possibly could have been one to come out to challenge him for it. But then we get this music playing out of nowhere, and it's like a flashback back to like 2019 during the Cruiserweight Classic, because we have one Mr. Noam Dar come back after 11 months of being out due to injury, a la Ethan Page, with his haircut. With his haircut. And I thought to myself, thank God for the haircut, because when I saw him in the Cruiserweight Classic with his haircut, I thought, wow, he actually looks really good looking. Why did he let his hair grow out so ugly for so long? That's just a personal preference of mine.
Hey, sometimes we as men have like that ugly phase that we want to go through and just grow our hair. Like no cut, no shave, no nothing. Just like let it all.
I had a phase like that, but it was when I had to grow my hair up because I dyed it with bleach too many times and nearly destroyed it.
Good God.
So all this hair that I have now is me taking care of it and fixing it.
Yes, please don't.
I didn't know about how bad bleach could be for hair like that until it happened.
Don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Your hair is lovely.
And why do you think I buy so many wigs when I want to play around with my hair so I don't dye it and damage it again? But we get Noam Dar come back, and the Great Grand Slam Puba said in our chat, these people are being rude. Like, there was no pop for that man. And I'm like, well, he got some pop here and there. Some people were cheering. We got some welcome back chants. We got some supernova chants. And I will say Noam Dar is the only person that can wear Galaxy print right now and not look like he's stuck in 2012. Everybody remembers that. I remember that. I didn't participate in that fact because I thought it was stupid. I thought the print was ugly on clothes. It's stuff that looks better in like decoration, but not for clothes. At least not Galaxy print. I will wear something with like stars and stuff like that, but no. But anyways, I mean, it was a fairly good match. I mean, basically, Lexis King just changed the rules of the Heritage Cup to be like a normal championship belt because he didn't understand the rules of the Heritage Cup. I just wanted to change because I'm the king. Well, guess what, King? Your ass got dethroned with the rolling back elbow by Mr. Noam Dar, and he has reclaimed his heritage. So the belt, so the cup is going to go back to what it was, what it stood for, how the matches went. Of course, some of us are going to be a little confused about all that shenanigans and buffoonery of the Heritage Cup match, but it's nice to see that versus him just changing the rules because of a thing that he doesn't understand because, as someone said on their sign, he shaves with a paintbrush. Listen, when I saw that sign, I found that hilarious. Lexis King shaves with a paintbrush. And if anybody can go back to where Ricky Saints and Lexis had their bit, you can see it in the background.
Oh God. I did not see that. Oh my God. See, now I gotta find it. I did not.
This is why it's good that I'm here. Not only do I point out stuff with clothes, but I see everything.
I did not see that at all. I was literally
I'm not like John
Cena.
Cena. I can see everything.
I literally, that was clever. But I literally was like looking at everything, and I did not pay attention to that. It's just so funny. Oh my God, I call him Lexus Sharpie now. Like, it's just, God, freaking ugly ass beard that he has.
I mean, at this point, it's like it's like when you spray paint on a wall and you use stencils to paint the picture because you're not the best at drawing. It's like if someone were to get a stencil of what he wants his beard to look like, they spray it with some like stuff so that it stays on for TV, but he can wash it off. It's just like.
My biggest problem is he's the type of person like Lexis King, and I really don't want to get into a roasting battle against Lexis King.
Why not? It's fun.
Here's how I feel I'm about to do, but Lexis King is the type of person that would still shop at Route 21.
Hey, what's wrong with Route 21?
He would. It's like when you're 21, 22, 25, it's cool. Once you hit like 30 status, bruh, take your ass out of Route 21, bro. Like you have to grow up.
Listen, it's the only 21 store that we have left.
At least look. There's Shein, there's Boo. It's all the places that taking the stores out. All the places that is getting rid of the Forever 21s. That's how you get.
Well, they went bankrupt already, so plus they charge too much for their stuff sometimes. So
exactly, it's their fault. Like them all day. Like you graduate, like you go to Route 21 to develop yourself, and then you graduate and go on to like H&M or something like that.
I worked at H&M for 3 years, as people know.
You don't stay. You don't stay at the Route 21. That's the problem with Lexis King. He's one of them two people that peaked in high school and college and just cannot accept the fact that life goes on besides high school and college. I'm tired of this man. I love your dad, but it's just like it's just like what The Rock said to Dusty's picture. I love you, but your son sucks. It's just please.
Or like when Randy Orton said that he loved their father, their uncle, their cousins, but you two are some bitches, referring to the Usos when they were still there with RK Bro.
I miss RK Bro, but
as do some people. I'm not going to say everybody because I know there's people that do not. And Steve asked, "What about Forever 21? It filed for bankruptcy for the second time."
Yeah, so they out.
And they're probably going to close down and probably going to open back up in a while. And I actually did apply for Forever 21 once until they asked if I worked at another store. And I said, yes, the H&M across. I was like, I work there. I can come over here. And they're like, no, we can't have you working for the competition. I was like, fine by me. You want to be paying me enough to quit anyway.
When was this competition?
I don't know. I guess they saw it as a rival thing, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know.
I mean... but like here in Atlanta, there's like all the other stores are closed except for one main store, and that's going to stay up for a little while. But yeah, everybody else's stores is like emptied out.
Well, also everybody's shopping online now, so. But we get Roxanne Perez being interviewed backstage, and they're asking about what had happened, why she ruined Stephanie's moments and her match yesterday, and she goes on whining and moaning and groaning, saying like, "This was supposed to be my moment. I was supposed to be champion. If I can't be champion, then Stephanie can't be happy being champion either." Girl, you had a chance to become a champion again, a tag team champion. What do? You act like the snake that you are and leave your best friend who came in to help you be in that tag match at Stand and Deliver to let her get eliminated second. Like, really? I was thinking, like, Cora, really? You decided to trust this girl again? She's a bigger snake than you are. No, I'm not wearing a Rasta-style t-shirt. I'm wearing an AJ Francis tie-dye merchandise shirt, which is the very last one ever in existence. So
I just wish, and yes, thank you, Charmaine. This is how I feel about Roxanne at this point.
Like the Melanie Martinez song, she's a crybaby.
Yes, it's like everywhere she goes, she cries. And I used to love Roxanne, but her character right now is just very, very annoying.
Listen, she's basically a child prodigy who gets used to getting everything that she wants and getting her way. Now that she's not getting what she wants and not getting her way, then she's gonna whine and moan and groan about it. Yeah, it's nice. And I would have cared like maybe 3, 4 years ago when I was still working there, but now I don't care anymore. plus the products, as far as like how they look, I feel like everything's gone too bland, at least from what I've seen. So
oh yeah, it's weird. Like even for the men's side of H&M, it's just weird. For me, it's just weird going in that store because I'm like, I know what it used to be. It just used to be real male casual. Now it's like they're trying to be casual but fashion, and I ain't got fashion money. I got casual money. I ain't got trying to keep up with the fashion and artiste stuff. Like I just can't do it. But yeah, boom, perfect explanation on perfect representation, George. Yeah, I just freeze. But George, perfect. Is exactly what I would have said. The same thing. I just need her to go to the main roster now. She's done all she can here. She's done all she's done all she can. She completely and without a doubt just been in NXT too damn long. Let's just keep it a buck. She's been here too long. It's time to move. It's time to go. It's why are you still here? You've been on the main roster like how many times? Oh Lord, no, Lord, my co-host is gone. But anyway, you've been on the main roster what? How many times? How long? And Sabrina will be back. But just like George said, she's been here. She's been here how long? You've been having this many angles. You've been on the main roster. You've been on the main roster. Like why you keep coming back for other stuff? You, God dang, you want. It's almost you're almost more thirsty than Ashante, and that's a low. That's a new low for me when it comes to Roxanne. That I have to compare her to Ashante, the thirst doll. God.
I mean, we have someone else that we can compare to a thirst dog as far as wanting a title back, but we'll get to that in just a second. So we have the match of Fallon Henley versus Thea Hale, and I apologize for what just happened, but my internet decided to be stupid for 5 seconds. But we have this match with Fallon Henley, and you can see when she comes out with JC and Jasmine, JC looks like disgusted and annoyed with her for like everything that's been happening. And Jasmine, you can see in the back kind of looking a little conflicted, like wondering like what the hell is going to happen between the two of them. And I mean, match was good. I mean, also I liked the fact that the entrance for Thea Hale, her song starts with "I'm a grown woman."
Yeah, that is hilarious.
It calls back to when
that is
JC Jane pretended to care for Chase U, come in and help, and then people were calling Thea Hale saying that she was just a little girl, stay out of grown woman business. So she acting like a grown woman now, and there were good spots here and there. There was a moment where Jasmine was distracting the ref, and Fallon has JC hold Thea back so that she could kick her in the. Fallon held Thea so JC could kick her in the face. No, she did not care. She said that she didn't. She said she pretended. We all saw that.
It's funny.
Jack,
We've been
you're living in
talking
your land of
for
Delulu.
38
You're
minutes.
living in your land of Delulu.
We've been talking for
good
38 minutes, and our beloved and one of our beloved leaders would wait
Who was
until we
supposed
start
to be
talking
here but was
about
unable to be here. The leader of the JC Jane train over here.
like
But
he will wait. He will wait until now.
he always waits until it comes to toxic attraction talk because he realized after a while that he liked JC Jane. But JC was supposed to kick Thea. She accidentally kicks Fallon in her shoulder. And then Thea puts Fallon in a double wrist lock and makes her tap out very quickly after she knocks both
that
JC
was
and Jasmine out.
I think I even said
had
in the
that
chat.
training. Remember, she had that training with Curly.
I keep forgetting that. I'm not gonna lie. Because that show was looking like I even said in the chat, I'm like, yo, that was fast. Like that was quick.
Listen, she made quick work of the person that's going to wind up getting kicked out of Fatal Influence at some point.
Oh yeah, she's definitely getting kicked out. We know it's coming. We know it's happening. It's just a matter of fact. It's just a matter of time when. And this is actually one of those times where I know I can pick out when and the perfect timing of a faction breaking away. I really don't know the timing of them because, I mean, yes, they're called toxic attraction, but I feel like they just attract their own damn toxic selves at this point.
Well, I mean, like they said, their name was Toxic Attraction. The only attraction that would come towards them was their toxicity.
Was their own selves.
Fatal Influence delivered a fatal blow tonight to Fallon during their match, which is putting in more fatal blows to their unity as a faction.
But I will say, the outfits gave me this. The outfits, and we have a new little thing that I'm gonna tell y'all later of what it is, and this was not my moment, but the outfits, I'm like, all right, y'all did black. Now y'all trying to blend it with. It's like it's like okay, we get it. Y'all trying to change our persona a little bit. Y'all trying to have like a attitude boss look, but it's just not. It's just not working. It's just not working for me. I wish it would. I wish it was. I wish I could be like, all right, cool. This is about to be good. This is about to be one of those. All right, finally, cool. Boom. What should I do next?
Well, speaking of fashion that did not work for us, we had Obafemi making his entrance and getting on the mic. I did not like his shirt. I felt like it was too shiny in the worst way possible.
The shirt was bland. The shirt was bland.
Okay, thank God that you agreed on me on that, because if you did like it, I was going to have a few questions for you about that.
But I will say this.
Your Highness, the new king is a U.S. The new king.
Yeah, I finally put it in there. It took me a while. It took me weeks, but I finally did it. I did it, damn it. Yes. That is Obafemi's thing. That is the Mbaku of NXT. Well, and his shirt was definitely not a great moment because that shirt was ugly. I'm sorry. I love Mbaku.
Whichever stylist picked that needs. Anyways, Obafemi said that he did exactly what he set out to do at Stand and Deliver, which was crush the dreams of Javon Evans and Trick Williams and set them on fire. But he says that he does regret saying that Javon is a child and called him immature, that he wasn't ready for this and that he wasn't going to be able to keep up with them. And he says that he is wrong and that he gives him much more credit, that he gives him more credit, but that his moment is not here yet. At least somebody can admit when somebody is further along than they gave them credit for, as far as for the Young OG. And yes, I am talking to the one person in UPR that does not like him for the life of us, as people saw in our Stand and Deliver review video that the few people that were over at Vegas to be there made quickly after Steven and Great Grandson Pooba applauded everything that the Young OG did. We had someone else whine and moan and groan and complain why he didn't like him. I still don't get why he does not like him. Yes, he inserted himself in somewhat. So what? So does every other heel. They insert themselves into business that is not theirs sometimes.
Literally, like first of all, one of his favorite people always inserting shit where he don't really belong. Drew McIntyre, but
that's someone else's favorite person, and they were nearly drooling last night on Sunday night.
But yes, Young OG and people know that I always shout out this lovely Facebook group and Nation of African American Wrestling. We all knew him, you know, before he got caught up into NXT. He's actually a member of the Facebook group.
I have never seen him wrestle in person before then, but I know a lot of people who have wrestled him and worked with him before he got caught. Anyways, and Oba also says, as good as Trick is, he's just that much better. And speaking of those that cry and moan and groan and bitch and complain about everything and are crashing out for a title shot and are thirsty for a title like Ashante and Pepe, we had Trick Williams coming in. And he says he's not going to go out like that because every time it comes to getting what's his, he finds the easy way out, and that you only won because you pinned Javon, not me, and I want my title back. And Obafemi puts his foot down, tells him that this is his NXT. He's here for what is his, and he is tired of. Oh no, wait. Obafemi is putting his foot down and talking. Meanwhile, Trick keeps insisting this is his NXT. He's here for what is his. He's tired of all these bombs in the back. Getting there is ahead of him, which you lost a million times. He's saying he wants their match one-on-one, no interferences, nobody else getting in the middle of it. Nobody else. But then say his name and he appears.
Yes!
We believe in Joe Hendry.
My man.
Listen, when we saw him come out of WrestleMania for Randy Orton, that was the last person any of us expected. We literally thought it was going to be somebody in the roster just for a safe pick.
So
not what I expected. Although the only two people in our chat that cannot stand him for the life of them is Steven and the Sheriff. But then again, I don't think she really enjoys TNA as a whole like that. So
yeah, but I mean,
listen, I will sing that song as much as I like Roderick. If you don't like it, then you can mute it when I do.
What's so funny about this is as people knew, I was at Mike's house. I was at the Tribal Chief's house. I was at Mike's house. I had a seat at the table of the person that's head of the table for Saturday and Sunday. And I kid you not, when Joe Hendry showed up on the TV, Mike was so confused of how I was going crazy. I literally jumped out my seat. I was screaming. I was running up and down. I was so I started singing his song, and then Mike had to look at his daughter like, who the fuck is this guy?
Wow, Mike didn't know who Joe Hendry was for a split second. Wow.
He did. He was just why?
Listen, people are like weirded out and confused, like why? Wait, what? Even though NXT is the one that has this thing with TNA. Listen, once upon a time ago in the Royal Rumble, we had the then called Impact Women's Champion of Mickie James making her way into the Rumble. And also, Joe Hendry did make an appearance in the Rumble this past year.
He did. And so this is what I love about it, because I know there's been complaints, and I was trying to hold this. I was trying to hold this rant for later, but fuck it. Dang it, that's my F chart. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a thing that we're going to start doing called WTF, What the Freckles, and this is my What the Freckles moment. So the whole entire IWC that's been complaining that WWE don't get other promotions involved, WWE don't do this, WWE don't do that. At least AEW has a forbidden door. Blah blah blah. For those that knew how bad Vincent Kennedy McMahon had a chokehold on WWE, where you couldn't even do anything else. You barely even have a Twitch. You almost had to choose between Twitch or wrestling. We finally got not only TNA wrestlers, but literally showcasing the championship titles. We would have never guessed this and seen this or even thought of this 10 years ago. Hell, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. We would never have thought that TNA champions will be on WWE. We would never thought that AAA will get hired because Triple H is in charge now. We would have never got any things if people wanted to complain that Joe Hendry got beat by Randy Orton in
3 minutes and 10 seconds, according to Katie.
In 3 minutes. Now, I understand that it could have been a little longer, but it wasn't really a match. It was never going to be a match.
It was just a challenge.
If it was not named Kevin Owens, it was never going to be a match. It was going to be Randy talking about it's been 20 years. It was going to be Randy doing an RKO on somebody, and that's it. The fact that even Joe Hendry had an offense, show ability, show range in those 3 minutes was money enough. He had his own shirt that was for sale,
and wore it right as he came in.
He had literally, I want to say, if it's not the biggest, the second biggest pop of all of WrestleMania.
It was the second biggest pop of all of WrestleMania.
Night 1 and 2. Out of night 1 and 2, that was literally hands down probably the second biggest pop. The biggest pop to me was definitely Becky. You can say Becky. You can say Jey Uso finally winning. Was a big pop.
Mysterio winning
and Dominic Mysterio winning. But outside of that, Joe Hendry coming out, even people that was recording the crowd, you heard them screaming when you heard the song, and he shows up again. I was like, oh my god, I'm getting love twice. He shows up WrestleMania. He shows up at NXT. It is
also
true. You say his name, he appears.
To this with the freckles rant that you have, because I will say this during the prediction show last Thursday that I had with one Mr. SmackDown Warden in Dice, the Z is silent. When we were making our predictions and we had our Logan Paul versus AJ Styles match predictions, I said that Karen Cross would come in and pull some shenanigans and interfere in the match. Now, Dice said, oh no, he has that thing with GCW, so he's not going to be there. And I was like, great, even better. Nothing's going to happen. That thing was clearly on Saturday or Friday because Sunday was the match. And guess who came out during AJ's match to try to help and then wound up helping Logan win? Karrion Kross, and then pulled out basically one of the pipe bombs of the century not that long ago. So I called that shit. I called it. But anyways, we have Joe Hendry coming in. He says, Trick has changed. He's no longer soaking in the cheers. He's soaking in self-pity. You proved that what happens when you listen to the fans. And he did it at WrestleMania, that he had his moment, that he's celebrating it, everything. He's reeling it. He's taking it all in. I was waiting for Trick to say, yeah, you had your moment and you lost so damn quickly. But he didn't. In that sense. He said that Trick Williams isn't hungry. He's entitled. And that, did he ever think the reason that he didn't win the title back is because he's a whiny bitch?
That was, boy. Then I'm very familiar with Joe Hendry's game in TNA, like the
music videos that he puts on.
Yeah, he puts on and everything. I did not expect him.
Song is my favorite.
I didn't expect him. I didn't expect it. My favorite one was definitely the one he did for Nick Nemitz's brother. That was like the funniest one.
For Ryan Nemeth?
Yes.
He's so irrelevant that you can't even remember his name. How are they going to be tag champions with how irrelevant one half of the Nemeths are?
Because he doesn't do it. I'm like, Nate, I always keep thinking like
the only moment
name
that I
something
can
that he
remember,
had.
the only moment that I can remember is the one time I went to an AEW dark taping and that was still a thing, where he had a tag match with himself and Cesar Bononi against the indie wrestler that I see at shows and I've talked to named Chris Farrell and someone else whose name unfortunately I cannot remember. That's the only thing I remember of the Hollywood hunk Ryan Nemeth.
Like I say, I can't name like a big moment or a moment in
Because
general.
he didn't have a big moment in AEW, and he's only having a big moment now because of his brother.
That's not so true. Exactly. And so when he said he is Nick's brother, the end. That was just it was so perfect. It was so perfect. I had me cracking up. I didn't expect him to call Trick, out of all people, Trick Williams, BITCH. That was like, dang. I was like, I like you.
I mean, the same way that Lola Vice called out during their ladder match where she said to shut it puta, which is Spanish for BITCH, which I explained it to everybody in our group chat.
Honestly, I expect that from Lola because
she's Cuban, she's Latina, she can get away with it.
And she always give that I don't play that she always show that spicy side. Never seen Joe Hendry just have a spicy side where
listen, us Cubans, we don't play.
Right, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the era of, and although people be like, "Oh, it's forced," I don't give a crap. I'm loving.
We don't give a good dog damn.
I'm loving the era of baby faces showing that they have some grit, showing that they can clap back.
It's a good era that not all baby faces are going to be stupid and fall for everything after they stop being heels.
Exactly. Is that like pure baby faces, things of that nature? I'm liking the still baby face, but they're gonna do things their way. That's why I love about Joe Hendry. That's what I loved about Young OG, because they showing you like a new era, a new generation of baby faces. Cody comes from the old formula of how baby faces were, how baby faces organically always were, and it works for him. It works for his gimmick. I know people were
booing him at WrestleMania. Then John Cena called them out on Monday, saying like, "Wow, y'all were booing him. Now y'all cheering for him now." Like I was he made a fair point on that one. Like,
fans are freaking fickle. Fans are fickle.
I was like, all of y'all that were in there that were booing him on Sunday were so hypocritical on Monday, but. We had Trick telling Joe Hendry that he had his 5 minutes and that you're an outsider and you don't belong. You better take that tab and go back to where you belong. Meanwhile, Joe Hendry says he belongs here because he belonged to WrestleMania. And your TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Thank you. Congratulations.
With the NXT champion. And then you got OFME dropping a bar saying, don't make the same mistake Moose did.
That was cold. That was a cold bar.
I mean, it was true though.
That was a good one.
And then we have Joe Hendry and Obafemi working together to send Trick Williams through the door down the ground.
But yes, so we all know at Worlds Collide, it's definitely going to be champion versus champion.
Oh yes, indeed. And after all that, we get a video package of Stax meeting up with Luca in the middle of the desert. Luca is asking Stax, what's going on? Why did you betray the Dawn? Why did you do all that? What was that in the first place? And then Stax is like, you know why I brought you here, right? And he's like, oh, snap. And then it fades to black. And I was just like, are you going to kill him and leave his body in the desert? Or are you going to put him in the box, leave it for the Dawn to find in there and have a sign saying, like, what's in the box?
Basically. I mean, if you've seen one Godfather movie, you've seen them all in a sense.
I mean, that wasn't what I was referencing, but okay.
If you see Godfather or Goodfellas or any mob, I'm trying to think of others, an Italian Job. Like, it's so many mobster movies.
What I was referencing was the mob movie, but that's besides the point. I was referencing 7. What's in the box?
Oh yeah, damn. But well, I mean, when we went to that box, I was thinking of like, you know how gangsters they cut the person's finger off, put it in ice and fish, and send it to the leader. And that's basically what Stacks is doing in this. Stacks is coming for the entire family. It's kind of interesting because I thought he would do it where it's whoever. I thought it was going to be whoever wins gets control of the family.
We already had that match before. It was the family versus Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
We didn't.
And look at Legado. They just.
And now they are up in the main roster. And last we saw Humberto get his ass beat by Rey Fénix.
See, but I mean, but it is Rey. It is Rey. Rey is one of the, and me and Mike talked about this when we saw him go against El Generico. It was like he is one of the best luchadors. Mike says he's the best. He's the future. He's the best luchador of all time. It's hard for me to say that because his brother is definitely in that same category. I know. I will say that Rey is better than Penta, but it's hard to bring up one and not the other.
Fair. And speaking of hard at bringing up one and not the other, we had Soul talking about how hard everybody worked in the ladder match that night, that she feels happy to have accomplished winning, which I called it last year. I called it again, so I was happy about that. And that she's happy being a 2-belt champion. And then Liv and Raquel tried to rain on their parade, tried to plant the seeds in there to make them bitter and upset at each other, especially at Zara because she doesn't have a title. Like, maybe your friend should give you one so you don't feel bad about having one, knowing damn well she can't bring up the Speed Championship. But then Soul says, don't try to get in the middle of Zaruka because you guys are jealous. Maybe we'll try to come after those belts and I'll give myself a 3rd belt then. And then they start saying, like, yeah, we've been around here. We've been in NXT too long. Let's get out of here.
Basically, it was basically a moment of like, yeah, it's like finally y'all get what we kept on telling y'all the whole entire time. Just go. Like it's you can go. You don't.
That wasn't a match. That was a promo. I mean, a segment for.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was like you've done it. You can't. Y'all have literally done all y'all can. Please.
But we get Trick Williams having the ultimate crash out backstage and going he's gone Super Saiyan. I made a Dragon Ball Z reference, even though I still don't care for the show. Having the ultimate crash out, having the ultimate fit, breaking everything and stuff, and then we hear Ava as the screen cuts and we can't see anything. And she's trying to calm him down. And he's like, don't you dare talk to me. I want my title shot. I deserve it. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, boy, your ass is going to get thrown out that building if you do not shut up.
Well, he'd have the guy escorted out.
No, I mean, he got thrown out of the damn building because he couldn't keep himself under control. Same thing that should have happened yesterday because of what Gunther did to Michael and Pat McAfee. So now? If they say something and you get butthurt, you have the right to put your hands on them because they're doing their jobs. So at this point, does this mean that all commentators should just focus on what happens in the match and not make any comments? Is that what you want them to do, Gunther? Just want them to be boring? No, you respect someone that speaks their mind. You can't respect them when it's someone who's watching from a different perspective.
Yeah, I cannot wait for next week. Because I want to see where this goes, like when it comes.
Listen, if we wind up getting Pat versus Gunther, I'm not going to be able to handle it.
No, I'm not going to be able to handle it. But there's no way. I don't think we're going to have that. I honestly don't think we're going to have that. Only because we might have that, but we could have Wade Barrett versus Gunther.
Wade Barrett hasn't wrestled in God knows how long.
I'm just saying that out of because it looks like Gunther's going to just keep on bullying somebody until somebody.
Wade Barrett is literally the captain of the Kiss Ass Brigade up in the main roster when it comes to commentary. There is no way in hell he's going to fight Gunther.
I don't know.
Just
I think
like Corey Graves is the king of the suck-ups
I think
in NXT right now.
I think I would say, well, now, and the only reason why I say this is because of how Wade was doing the women when he had stood in between. He also stood in between Gunther before. He's also stood in between when it came to the Drew and CM Punk before too.
Well, he's the only one of the three of them that could actually like handle himself, if anything.
And that's the other thing. He's the only one that can actually
listen. Both Michael and Pat have been in matches and rumbles and not even last longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say Pat. Love what he did with how he started with NXT and doing for the brand and all that stuff. But I get, and you know, he used to be in the NFL, but yeah, there's no way that Pat is going to be wrestling Gunther any.
No, he's not going to be wrestling Gunther, and I don't want that. But speaking of things that some people didn't want, we had the dark stage, which what they do is the same thing that the No Quarter Catch crew used to do.
Yeah,
which was when we had matches, and they would come out, and you wouldn't know which iteration of them you're going to get until they came out, which is basically what they're doing versus Javon Evans and Myles Borne. And I will say Javon and Myles worked fairly well together, even though we've only seen them. We have ever seen Javon go against Charlie Dempsey for the title.
Yep.
And then we had Dion Lennox and Osiris in the ring. So we didn't have the one whose name you can't stand in the ring. We just had him outside of the ring. We had the Ebony and Ivory of Dark Stage out ringside.
Wow, that was.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Look at the complexion of Shaquan and the.
I don't even know if that's PG.
The title. What were you thinking?
Wow, that was wow.
How was that not PG? Ebony and Ivory, like the song, like the keyboards on the.
No, I said we know. It's just
I've only ever heard the song title, not the song itself. So if it's not PG, then I didn't know.
That was just funny. But
anyways, the match was fine. It ended the way that we knew it was going to end. We knew the Dark State was going to beat them. And on Myles, they performed the double team spine buster, and they win the match.
Yeah, it was obvious that Dark State was going to win. I feel like they're going to win one more time, and then they get, then they get their due diligence of getting beat at least once.
They will eventually. We just got to figure out who is going to beat them.
I mean, I kind of do have. For some reason, I do have No Quarter Catch crew actually winning. If
they beat them down and win with all three of them actually in a ring with them and someone else, then so be it.
Because they even thinking about it, with the family being a faction that's down now, Fraxium not being the dominant champion, not being the dominance anymore.
Also the fact that there's two of them, and Nathan keeps inadvertently making enemies out of everybody.
Exactly. So you just start thinking. You start thinking when you start thinking like what real dominant face. Not this because championship wise, Hank and Tank could take on at least 3 of Dark State. Let's keep it a buck. They're not the biggest. Dark State ain't the biggest. They just have the most people that's a unit. So no Quarter could be that face turn change of them being them getting like some new fresh air. And the best way to do it is being the one bully team that's just been pulverizing. But I will say this though, No Quarter Catch Crew. I know we're gonna go to the other segment, but No Quarter Catch Crew, do not fight them in the parking lot.
Listen, they're not all stupid enough to do that. I will say that they're not all stupid.
Do you want that to happen to you?
Again, they're not that stupid. But we had Sean Spears in Avery's office saying he values her time and is looking up for friends. She says she gets it. So obviously he was talking about something involving the culling. So my guess he's probably going to try to get matches for all of them for championship gold.
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
you have Inamura coming in. He's saying his time is up. It's coming to an end, that he's going to be heading back to Noah in Japan. He wants to thank her, offers her respect, that she deserves more respect in the locker room back here, that everybody keeps complaining. And he's like, well, everybody gets opportunities. Why are they complaining? He feels bad about not getting the championship tag team for him and Briggs, and that he's looking all down, feeling all upset. And then you got Briggs coming in. She offers them one last shot next week against Tank and Tank. After she leaves, Briggs asks Inamura, what happened? What did you do? And he stands up. He gets that smart smirk on his face, and he says it's an old Japanese secret, which is basically just guys using emotions on a woman to get what they want, which is getting a title shot, and then they just start high-fiving and all that. And nice to know that I'm not wrong on that, because you didn't say a damn word.
Yeah, I had nothing. I had nothing for that one. I was like, yeah.
That's fair.
And I was like, then I hate that, because I had nothing, because I really didn't. I had to think about it. I was like, and normally I'd be wanting to give a criticism. I had nothing to criticize. I really had nothing to criticize.
It felt like watching one of those high school animes where the male lead that's super in love with the female lead that has no interest in him, and he keeps begging for a chance for her to go out with him, like to do something, like just say please, 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 and uses the puppy dog eyes, and then she gives and is like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll do it. And then she's like, yay, and then smiles and it's back to normal.
It's just everybody.
Listen, we gonna make anime references here and there as much as we please. And I remember what said last week on National Anime Day, mind you, about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers over Dragon Ball Z and every kind of animation cartoon like that. Listen,
that was wild.
Some of those Japanese cartoons gave inspiration for some of the things that we have now. So, like, there's an iconic motorcycle, like, skidding scene from a movie that tons of movies, TV shows, and cartoons use from Akira. That's an anime. That's a Japanese anime movie.
Yeah, everybody. I'm telling you, everybody. Every single, even Sonic did it. Even Shadow did it. Every person has literally done the Akira motorcycle slide. I mean, from John Wick, literally any movie that has a motorcycle, it all came from that one scene. That's so funny, because I never even seen Akira, but I just memorized.
But I memorized talked about it. So
the motorcycle slide.
But we also get Tony D meeting with Adriana in her hotel room. He admits he's going to have to fight Stacks, and she's like, really? Are you sure? Do we have to come to this? We could just have a sit-down talk about it. He's like, I appreciate that, but I don't think it's going to be able to work. She tells a story about how she used to fight this bully named Big Ant. I won't lie, when she said that, I immediately thought Mob Wives. I had a phase where I would watch a lot of reality TV, and that was one of the things that I binged. So I did binge Mob Wives and Big Ant. May she rest in peace. She beat down her Big Ant, and that she always told Stacks that she would be loyal after him teaching her how to fight. And Tony says he's declared war, and he doesn't know what he's willing to do. You're packing, but you can't go home. It's not safe. I have 2 guys downstairs that'll take you to a safe house until all this blows over. She asked him, where's Luca? And he's like, you haven't heard? He said he was going to clear his head, but that was a couple hours ago. They should be a little worried about what happened to Luca, but that's me.
Yeah, it was kind of weird of like not one person's like, so what happened to
Listen, y'all what kind of lives y'all live? You should realize that's not safe. I mean, it's only a couple hours, but a couple hours could be a lot.
A lot, right? Yeah, oh, definitely. Stacks is gonna find out.
Well, of course, it's gonna find out. Those guys are probably rats or moles that are gonna tell him where she is.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm curious. Like I said, I love this angle. I love how the story is unfolding. I just want to see where do both of them go from this.
We gonna see. So then we get Ricky Saints being interviewed. He's thrilled for Noam coming back, winning the cup, saying like it was supposed to be a cup versus title match, but now it's just gonna be for my title because he lost the cup. He says he knows what it feels like to be hurt and forgotten, and that he's a man of his word, so he's still going to defend that title against Lexis King. And then you get Ethan Page appearing out of nowhere. Ricky gives a look to Sarah. She books it. And right before he says something, Lexis King, being the whiny little white boy that he is, annoyed that he couldn't win, says to Ricky, "It's all your fault I lost, and I'm going to take this out of him." I'm like, boy, what the hell did Ricky do to get you to lose? And Ethan Page says, we gonna pick this up later.
Once again, it's a good match. It's a good match it's a good feeling match for Ricky. This is
I love how all the feuds that Ricky's having are all against former AEW co-workers that he has.
Like he's going to the AEW.
First it was Sean Spears, then it's Ethan Page, and now it's Lexis King, formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr.
It is, it is like he's going through. It is like he's going through the AEW gauntlet.
I mean, remember, Ethan Page said that he's an outsider and doesn't belong here. Neither were you.
Which makes no sense. It made like there was.
Remember, he's a bona fide heel. He is a hypocrite. That makes no sense.
That was like like there's some things that heels can say where you just like, all right, I see why you said that as a heel. That one just didn't make any sense. He was like, "Oh, you an outsider, motherfucker! You an outsider!" Like what?
All the stuff that you said about Roxanne with her stuff with Cora for a while, you were like the stuff that she was saying. You're like, that don't make no sense.
Some things do deserve criticism. Some things.
And speaking of things that got criticism from 1/3 of our team, we have a video package of somebody coming into a room. And I'm just thinking it's another thing of the family. But they open up a briefcase and pulls out the infamous Chase U sweater. Announced, "Nothing back, baby." And I put in our group chat because I made a group chat for myself, the great grandson Puba, and Frecklesensei here, saying that we need to send about 20 taco trucks to Ron Stats to cheer him up because of how upset he was about that. We all know how much he despised Chase U about as much as he despised Jacket Time. Kind of a bit dumb as that.
I do wonder if I wonder if that was just a callback. I don't think they're gonna really bring Chase U back.
They might. We'll just see what happens. Or they might revamp it up a little bit so it's not the exact same. They'll still keep the merch. Listen, every time he comes out, they still give him the Chase U music. They never changed it.
That is true. I guess for me personally, it's like it's not going to feel the same. It's not going to feel the same.
Well, it's going to be a little different. It's going to evolve a little bit because it's not going to be the same.
Especially without Duke. Without Duke, it definitely don't.
Well, I mean, they're going to make do, and that's what Kale Dixon and Uriah Connors are going to try their hardest to do, even though they're not going to fully do it. It's just going to be in their own way.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think they're probably going to change it. Like it's not going to be called Chase U. It might be something different.
We shall see what happens. And we now have our main event of the evening.
We probably Chase that.
We have the prodigal crybaby in Roxanne Perez versus La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. And match was great, left to right. It was fun seeing Booker T go back and forth between his girl Roxanne that he coached since the very beginning to Stephanie when she performed the Devil's Kiss on her. And then when you have people chanting one more time for it to happen again. But, I mean, match was good. I mean, Stephanie brings the house down like nobody's business. Roxanne brings the house down like nobody's business. Roxanne kept saying, like, Stephanie is acting like she built this division and she made it what it is, blah, 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 when I did it, blah, blah, blah. So have other women. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
But via the SBB, Stephanie retains the NXT Women's Championship. And post-match, we get Julia making her way to the entrance to stare her former best friend down. And then you have Jordynne Grace watching from the sidelines when nobody is looking.
Which I actually enjoyed this. So of course, this was at the time that I was falling in and out of sleep so much, and I didn't know I passed out. But I did see that part. But after that, kind of passed out, and then it was just like in and out, in and out. Thank God for Twitter and Threads because they first of all, Twitter and Threads don't good God, they don't slow down.
You will never catch me use Threads. I already use Twitter. I don't need to use Threads.
I prefer Threads. I prefer Threads more than Twitter only because it's being slightly contaminated, but it's not as contaminated as Twitter. Like Twitter just.
Well, I don't go that deep in the rabbit hole of it. I just see what I see and repost it if I like it, which is mainly about wrestling and a couple of shows that I like. But anyways,
and then I avoid all the dirt sheets on Threads.
I just see stuff here and there, but if it's anything involving like stuff for matches and stuff, I try to avoid the dirt sheets because, like Mike Knox says, #Fook the dirt sheets. And it doesn't count for the Sordo because that's a different way of saying it. It's not exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'm definitely team Fook the dirt sheets. Fook Dave Messer.
Listen, Dave Meltzer doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. So Lord knows what his ratings for these WrestleMania matches are going to be. And Standard delivered that we're going to say Fook everything that he said as far as his ratings.
Probably give it like a 2.
He
disgraced. It wasn't in the Tokyo Dome. It wasn't in the Tokyo Dome, so he's not gonna give it.
It wasn't Kenny Omega.
Yeah, it wasn't Kenny Omega. It wasn't in the Tokyo Dome, so he's gonna give it a. He's not gonna give it a 5. He's not gonna give it a 4.
But that is NXT for tonight. We thank everybody that has stayed to watch for sticking around for over an hour, which we ranted a little bit about some stuff from WrestleMania here and there because we weren't on the post shows for it, so we decided to give a little bit of our opinions for it. I mean, sometimes it's not pretty, but hey, it's got to happen. Like with Tiffany versus Charlotte, some of y'all expected the match to come out looking all pretty and clean, where they come out looking all pretty and clean, but they got down and dirty and fought, and that's the way it made sense for their feud. But
I'm still surprised Tiffany won.
I'm not.
No,
I knew she was going to win. Charlotte doesn't need the title. Now that John Cena's beat her daddy's record, she doesn't need it. But, I mean, we talked about everything NXT. And,
which
I mean,
means I was because
no, go ahead.
Which means for you guys that just because we're going to be gone does not mean that UPR in general is going to be gone, as we have plenty of things that Sabrina herself has beyond UPR as well. But we always have something for everyone. And if you would the lovely Sabrina go over through this list.
On Mondays or Tuesdays, the Mike Knox Show, the show for the intelligent wrestling fan, along with the Raw review show with Big Daddy Cool, AC, and Steamy Willie beaming after Raw's off the air, NXTrio with myself, Great Grandson Pooba, and Frecklesensei, All 8 Women and Friends after Dynamite, Top 5 prediction, top 5 and our predictions on Thursdays. The SmackDown Penitentiary Friday Night SmackDown on Saturday with the Zia Silent and Vic the Mark, and Collision Reviews on Saturday with Matt and whoever else joins him, because I'm not sure who usually co-hosts with him, but
I know typically it's Dice, but yeah, it's like Man and Friends.
well, just like it was all Elite Women and Friends, now it's Matt and Friends. It's Matt and his dogs.
Man has okay, I like that. Man and his dogs.
And I apologize for saying, because I know how cringy it sounded coming from me. He can say it and it would sound fine. I say it and it sounds cringy.
And then we also have, and for all of our wrestling people, if you love entertainment, because of course you do, because you freaking watch wrestling. So with the other things outside of wrestling, we do have UPRE. We have Trio of Destiny doing Daredevil. We have other people like the Tuesday. We have the Tuesday crew coming back. Actually, the Federation Tuesdays. We also have the Challenge All Stars with Mike. We also have the Millie Blaze Show with Mike and his awesome wife that makes great food, delicious. Was happy that I got to eat some last weekend. And also we have with me and Mike and Vic doing movie reviews every Thursday. We just got done doing the top 5 draft. I will be biased and say that I had the best draft because I had a strong list, y'all. I had Infinity Wars. I had Infinity Wars. I had freaking Winter Soldier. I even had Spider-Man into. I want to say I put into. It was either one or the other. It was into or Across the Spider-Verse that I had drafted. But I had a solid list. But all of that and more, we'll be doing American Pie franchise from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5, band camp.
Not the pie scene.
We're doing all. We're doing all the American Pies.
I've never seen American Pie. I only know that one scene.
It's gonna be teenage nostalgia, because that's how far back this movie came out. But with that being said, Sabrina, you do things on YouTube, so go ahead and plug yourself in.
Yes, I will shamelessly plug. Nice. I appreciate that, Jeffrey, but anytime I speak like I'm in a hip hop, like if I'm in a sitcom, like if I'm in a predominantly black cast sitcom of like the 90s, I feel like I'm very cringy in how I speak if I do speak like that. But anyways, I have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and occasionally South, where I record wrestling matches and put them up on the air, on the interwebs for the world to see. I did make some videos public from a wrestling show that I was at, where there was also a bachelorette party. So we had our fun drinking, eating, and watching some wrestling afterwards. And we got to see some WWID people have a match. We got to see Jack Cartwheel, Cappuccino Jones, who had fun blowing kisses at my camera after the match was over, which was funny because I recorded on my phone, going up against the team of Jackson Drake and It's Gall.
Actually, I might have to watch that.
I will send you the link.
I might have to watch that. I know I have myself. I may stream on Thursday, but I didn't post it. I didn't post it on my Twitch channel. But on Friday, there is a new mode for Marvel Rivals that's coming out. For everybody that plays Marvel Rivals, let me know who's our mains in the chat. But I will be streaming Marvel Rivals on this Friday night, starting at 5, probably in around 8, because SmackDown comes on. But there is a mode that's coming on. There is a mode called Big Head Mode that's coming out this Friday, and I cannot wait to play. I cannot wait to stream it, because I already know it's going to be so funny and so stupid that I can't take it serious, and I don't have to be so competitive in it. So just come on, catch a vibe with catch a vibe with me. I have friends in my Discord. Also, which is the same as me, is Frecklesensei World. And that's about it. Yeah. So 5 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, you can catch me on Twitch.
Well, we shared everything that we do, but don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the UPR product on all forums of social media that we have. Follow us on our YouTube, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our Twitter, on our Twitch, as well as our Patreon. So go ahead and give it some love, show us some love, put in your comments, and just let us know what you think of the product, what you like. If you don't like something, you can tell us. If you just gonna say something to troll, 99.9% of the time we ain't gonna pay attention, but
I'm gonna rush you.
we are saying our good nights, and we will see you all as 3 next week.
Yes, and also shout out to Jack's Big Pop Theory podcast that you can catch on Instagram and on Spotify as well. So with that being said, like Sabrina said, we see y'all later. F Dave Messer and F Hulk Hogan.